Here are some fine examples of barbecue skewers that I made a couple of days ago in our shop in preparation for this video. I'm going to take a moment to pan through the tools that you'll need to make your very own barbecue skewers. You'll need a propane torch. I happen to use a flint spark igniter. You can use a 2-inch kitchen match, would be fine. This happens to have a hot head torch head on it. I found that these can be acquired at Tractor Supply. A standard head on your propane torch would be fine. MAP gas burns hotter. It'll just make the work speed up a little more quickly, but you shouldn't be in any rush anyway. Some clear safety glasses, and if you're worried about the light and you're light sensitive, you can get some number 3 shade glasses at a store like Maine Oxy. I just use the safety glasses, the clear safety glasses. A pair of leather gloves. You don't want to wear synthetic clothing or have synthetic gloves. A common hammer, carpenter's hammer. Needle nose pliers. A 3-inch length of 3/4 inch black pipe. If you have a longer piece, you can do the drilling in it and then cut it to length. You'll need a drill, a 1/4 inch drill bit. 3/16 would work too. 1/8 inch square stock. This can be readily acquired at a True Value hardware store. A tape measure. And you cut the square stock into 20-inch lengths. And a hacksaw. And lastly, you need some kind of a vise. A small home shop vise is fine. This happens to be a leg vise, not necessary. And over here is a large vise, but there are small homeowner versions. They'll do fine. So again, I'll just pan across the tools. Hacksaw, measuring tape, square stock, 1/8 inch, 3/4 inch black pipe, a drill, and a 3/16 or 1/4 inch drill bit, needle nose pliers, a common hammer, carpenter's hammer, clear safety glasses or number 3 shade that can be purchased at Maine Oxy, leather gloves, very important, not synthetic, and you don't want to wear any synthetic clothing. Synthetics will melt and you'll be severely burned if that happens. And a propane torch. The yellow tank is MAP gas, it burns hotter. This happens to have a hothead torch head on it. You can get those at Tractor Supply, but a regular torch head on your regular propane tank will work fine. And again, a vise. Happy skewer making. The twisting is a blast, and the delicate forging is easy to do. All ages could be involved. Get your whole family making these. Have a great day. Thank you very much from the Ava Gallery and Art Center. Don't forget to look for us online. So let's get started. To prepare to forge your barbecue skewers, cut your 1/8 inch square stock into 20-inch lengths using your vise and a hacksaw. Then, with a flat file or sandpaper, soften the sharp edges around your cut. Getting the burrs removed will make your forged end look cleaner. Heat the end of your 20-inch length of square bar stock until 1/2 inch is glowing orange. Using your vise as an anvil, hammer the glowing end of stock as you begin to create an oval-shaped end. You will have to repeat this process of heating and hammering 2 or 3 times. Your goal is to create a graceful spoon-shaped end. I've decided to heat one more time and hammer just behind the spoon shape to create a gentle, tapered transition to the remainder of the square stock. Now you will begin to create the pigtail loop that will become the handle of your skewer. To begin, insert your shaped end into the 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch slot that was drilled into your 3-inch length of 3/4 inch black pipe. You want just the spoon shape inserted into the slot. Begin heating the contact point where the square stalk meets the black pipe. Patiently allow the area of square stalk to glow orange. The orange glow is beginning to show. Now gently tug on the square stalk with your gloved hand while also pushing the length of square stalk so that it begins to wrap around the black pipe. Don't get ahead of the glow. Tease the glowing area in the direction that you are wrapping. If you get ahead of the orange heated section, a kink will occur in the square stalk. No worries. Back the torch up, heat to glowing, gently tug and push, and continue along. Voila! The kink will disappear. The experience of making something with one's own hands is very satisfying. This act of making is essential to being a human. This kind of activity is confidence building. And if you work with a friend, your partner, or your children, it becomes a team building exercise, a lesson in teamwork, in collaboration, patience, and playing well with others. All excellent life skills. You'll notice I've reversed the square stalk loop, but only to improve your viewing angle. It is important to remember to be aware of where your torch flame is pointed. Always point it away from you and others around you. Remember, too, that even though the metal stalk isn't glowing, it and the anvil will remain burning hot. Please consider wearing a long-sleeved cotton shirt. No synthetics will do. With the point of a forged skewer tip, I am pointing out the locations around the pigtail as it relates to the face of an analog clock. 6 is pointing toward my belly button. 12 is opposite. 3 is to my right. And 9 is opposite that. Now I have bent the pigtail 3/4 of the way around the black pipe jig. I heat the square stalk at the 6 o'clock position and create a reverse bend using the needle nose pliers as a clamp. Align the length of square stalk so that it is in line with the central axis between the 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock positions. Remove the pigtail from your jig. Gentle encouragement with your needle nose pliers may be necessary. With the torch lit, you will create a delicate curl on the oval-shaped end of the pigtail. It is okay to work right in the flame, keeping your oval shape in the hottest section of the flame. The hottest spot is just beyond the shadow shape of the inner cone. I wasn't happy with my curl, so I straightened it out and began the curl process a second time. Don't rush this part of the process. It can be a bit finicky. Take your time as you tease the curl into a shape that you find pleasing. This type of jig creates a kink just past the oval curl. By reheating and using your needle nose pliers, this and any other irregularities can be removed. Just be patient, take your time. And rum-tum, tiddle-um-tum. That's the bending song. And take a moment to admire your work. If you want to make some fine-tuning to the circle, you can get it back onto your pipe and just use the pipe as an anvil. And that'll ensure that it's a nice circle with no kinks. And also a reminder, this is still very hot, even though it's not glowing. So you would want to cool it before you touch it. You want to cool it in some water. You could pour some water into a Pyrex measuring cup and just swirl it around. That would cool it right down so that you can touch it again. Now that your pigtail is completed, it will become your handle to use for the decorative twisting process. On the opposite end from your pigtail handle, insert 2 inches of the square stock into your vise. This 2-inch section will become the sharp, tapered, forged end of your skewer. Here is an example of the graceful curves and elegant twists that you will create on your square stock. Notice how the direction of the curves and twists reverse on each other, thus creating the curved arcs that separate the twists. Let's begin by laying down a 1/2 inch of tight twists. Begin heating up an area about 1/2 inch long until it glows orange. 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch is about the maximum length you can heat up at one time using a propane torch setup. You can see the orange glow begin to expand in length. Now it is time to slowly rotate the square stock as you count the number of tight twists you want to create. Always stop your twist with a flat surface of the square stock pointing up. I believe this was 3 complete revolutions. Move about 1 inch down the square stock and heat up about 3/4 inch. Make your next twist in the same direction as the tight twists. Once the orange glow begins to form, move the torch slowly back and forth, teasing the orange glow to increase in length. You will notice there is indeed a limit to the length of orange glow that you can create at one time. Begin slowly twisting in the same direction as before. Here you are creating a gentler, more spread out twist. It's about 1.5 revolutions. Then skip a 1/2 inch. Heat another 1/2 inch area and reverse the curve by reversing the direction you twist. Using my torch as a pointer, I use a completed skewer to demonstrate the pattern made by the twists. Using a gloved hand to hold on to your pigtail loop, you don't even need vice grips to twist and control your square stock. Now that the new section is glowing, begin reversing the curve. Your twisting motion will be counterclockwise. You are making the same number of rotations as the prior twist that you are mirroring, 1.5 turns. Notice the satisfying arch that connects the 2 twists. Now you are beginning to get the knack of it. Move along your square stock another 1/2 inch and repeat the prior pattern. Begin twisting in the opposite direction. You will alternate your direction of twist for each group of rotations. Notice again the pleasing arc between the section of twists. You have the swing of it, so I'm jumping past a set of twists to create punctuation with another set of tight twists. Remember that each time you complete a section of twists, stop with a flat surface of the square stock facing up. My last step in the twisting process is to punctuate the row of twists with a set of tight twists just before the pigtail loop. Before forging the end of the skewer, I gently tap out any of the wiggliness along the length of the skewer. And I'm going to just gently tap to straighten out some of the humps. If you have a workbench or even a board, 2x4, you could lay it on the 2x4. The final step in making your skewer is to use your hammer and vise to forge the pointed tip of the skewer. You know the drill. Heat the tip to an orange glow. Hold the skewer about 7 degrees off the flat surface of your vise, with the blunt end of the square stock touching the vise. Hammer a few blows, then rotate the skewer 90 degrees. Take a few more whacks at it, then reheat. Repeat these steps. The point will begin to taper and get longer. Repeat until you achieve a nicely tapered point that will impale any type of food of your choosing. So there, now you have a completed skewer. They make great presents. And making skewers is a fun activity for the whole family. The adults can be watching out for safety. The children can take turns twisting, bending, and hammering. Thank you from the Ava Gallery and Art Center and its staff. Please consider donating to our Here to There fund to ensure that Ava will continue to offer the quality programming you have come to expect. Again, thank you.